Hey guys, welcome to the Homestead. So if you're like me, you've noticed that the world is just turning upside down. I've been to the store recently, and there are certain products that I have not seen available in months. The whole thing at the stores today is a complete and total charade. You see products that are single stacked, nothing behind them. I've heard reports now of certain stores putting out Easter items, Easter candies, bunnies and all this stuff. They're Easter because they just need to fill space. There was another report of someone who was like they had an entire row full of coolers, just trying to fill shelf space because they didn't want things to be look empty. And it's happening everywhere, and prices are still going through the roof. Inflation is not coming down. I don't care what the official numbers are. You know, and I know the prices are not going down. So, all that said, we're trying to be homesteaders, to be more self-sufficient. We see what's happening, and we still have time to prepare. Something about homesteading that I've learned is that you always need to be constantly trying new things, experimenting with new things. And sometimes you're going to fail, and sometimes you're going to succeed. And what you do is you keep going with what works. You try to find things that are low maintenance, that are easy to do. And because you have your time split up with so many other things on your homestead, you're trying to juggle. And so you look for things that are easy to maintain and do things that are easy to do, that come naturally. So I've got a couple things that I'm going to share with you today, what we're going to try to do coming up in the next year and also right now this fall. So I have never grown wheat before. I've never grown any type of grain before. I think at some point in my garden I tried to grow a couple large patches of corn, and it did not go well. And some old timer who was in the area said, "Zach, this is not corn country. If you want to go to corn country, go up to Iowa." So he recommended something that's always grown well here in the Ozarks, and that is sorghum. And so we've grown sorghum before and have pretty good success with it. And so something else I'm going to try that doesn't naturally grow here, but I'm going to try it anyway, because I've heard of other people having some limited success with it, and that is spelt. Okay, I'm going to try to grow spelt. So what you're going to do is you're going to plant it around September. People who live farther north in the Midwest, they try to put it in the ground mid-September, which is right now. But because we're farther south, I'm going to try to put it in the ground here coming up at the next rain. I'm looking at the forecast, and I have a 1/4 acre that's been plowed up with my tractor, and I'm going to try to put spelt in the ground. Now, it's going to go through a hard freeze at some point, probably in the November, December timeframe, and it'll go dormant. And then when temperatures basically warm up, it should shoot up and produce food. Spelt, it's a type of grain. It's like wheat. But it's very low in gluten, they say. It's more of a natural grain. It doesn't have all the issues that some of the modern day wheat stuff has. It's more of a European, I think. You can do your own history on spelt. And if you have someone who's in your family who is gluten intolerant, like we do, Morella does not like gluten. And so if you're looking for something like that, you can actually harvest the grain, and then you can germinate the grain, make it malted, and then at that point it produces an enzyme which reduces the gluten content even further. And so it makes it a very good grain to make bread with. And I love making bread in the kitchen. I've made lots of breads all the time, making breads. So I'm going to try something different. I just plowed up a 1/4 acre. Okay, I'm going to be planting soon spelt. And it just goes to show, listen, planting season is not yet over. There are things you can do right now to grow things for next spring or to grow things for the fall until it absolutely can't grow anymore when winter hits. So take some steps now. Something else we're going to be trying here, and this is, I'm excited about this one as well. You can go out and you can buy 50-pound bags of rice to store food if you want to. And you can go to Sam's Club, they sell 50-pound bags, or you can go to different co-ops and buy big bags of rice and store that food. But what happens when your food runs out? I mean, at some point, you're going to run out of food. And you want to be able to grow things. You want to be able to grow things so you can share that with your neighbors and trade with that and use it for your own families. You got to be a producer. Producers, if we're really looking at what we're looking at for the future of our country, producers are going to live, consumers are going to die. It's as simple as that. Producers are going to live, consumers are going to die. You got to be able to produce things, produce something, find something you can produce. Find multiple things you can produce. The more you can produce, the better. The more revenue streams that you have, the better. The more options you're going to have, the more opportunities you're going to have in your life. So here's the deal. We have this pond that's behind Tim's house. And I've been thinking about this over the last week. And it's about ankle deep, knee deep water in some places. And I know for a fact that rice grows pretty well in my state and our neighboring state of Missouri, especially in the Boot Heel area. In the lowland swamps they have over there, they have a lot of places where you have rice paddies. I think Arkansas produces a lot of rice. Southern Missouri on the east side produces a lot of rice. And in fact, there's a timber mill nearby here where they have a dumping off place where they put lots of rice hulls because someone in the area, in the lowlands here, is growing rice and just dumping the hulls, which is the in process of after you process the rice. And I have actually grown that. I've actually taken those hulls and put it on my garden as a topping to help produce good soil. And it was a really wet year one year, and I actually had rice that grew up out of my garden. I actually got to harvest it. And so there was rice rice will grow here. Well, I have this pond that's basically filled in. One of the ponds, I have a couple ponds on the property. This one's basically filled in. It's got ankle deep to knee deep water on it. And I bet I can grow rice in there because rice loves sitting in water. It does. And so I'm researching this. I just ordered some rice seed off of Etsy. I think I ordered like a 5-pound bag or maybe it's a 2-pound bag, whatever it was. It's enough to try and experiment and to grow my own. If you have a place on your homestead where you have a lot of standing water, where you have the ability to have it, kind of be boggy and all this moisture, try growing rice. Try growing it yourself. Maybe, you don't live in an area where that's possible. But if you do, just put it in your mind that, hey, this is an option maybe come this spring. You can plant it coming up in April or May, after all, because it doesn't like cold weather at all. Rice does not like cold weather. But if you put it in the ground in May, and then you spread it out over, usually what they do is there's lots of videos on YouTube about how to, get rice started. Start doing some research. You may need some rice coming up this next year. If we're looking at a food supply situation like everyone's saying out there, if they're putting Easter stuff out now in the stores because they have no food to put on the shelves, you might want to start looking at growing some things. You might want to start thinking outside the box a little bit. Wow. Easter stuff? I'm looking at growing rice. I'm looking at growing spelt. I'm looking at growing things I have not grown before because I'm trying to find different streams of production for my homestead. Production. And the more streams that you have, the more streams you can cultivate for your homestead, the more opportunities you will have to produce things that will either benefit you or benefit someone around you, like a loved one or a neighbor. And we need to be taking care of our neighbors in these days ahead. We need to be friendly with our neighbors, getting to know our neighbors, and just being like, hey, listen, do you need help with something? Hey, maybe I got something I can trade for something you got. So stuff like that. It's just important to be thinking about that in these days ahead. So yeah, I'm going to do some rice. We'll do some videos on it next spring. I'm still doing research on it. I'm learning all the ins and outs, but rice will grow here where I live. Arkansas is a major rice producer. And so I have to ask, listen, if I have all this water and moisture out here, why am I not trying to grow some? Why not? I have where I live, there's a seepage well that just seeps out of the ground. We have lots of moisture there. That pond never goes dry. It's always wet. I can grow something, I think. And then spelt. We'll try that too. Anyway, leave a comment below. Let me know some things that you may be thinking outside the box on. You're going to need to be creative in these days. You're going to need to be creative. Leave a comment below. It may be your comment that helps someone else think outside the box. It gives someone else an idea of something else to try. So share the knowledge. If you have an idea, share it with us below in the comments. I want to hear it. So for us, it's spelt and rice, among all the other things we're doing. We're just juggling. Let me know how you're juggling. Hey, check out our merchandise over at teespring.com. Links in the description below. You can find our Stupid Shit Hurt shirt, absolute bestseller. Best-selling shirt you're going to find. Listen, we have more hurt in this world, it'd be a lot less stupid. And you can wear that shirt proudly. Links in the description below. And then also some other shirts, great shirts, Farm Hair Don't Care and Farm Fresh Butt Nuggets. You can get all those links in the description below at teespring.com. All right, guys. See you next time in the homestead. Like the video before you go. Bye.
Hey guys, I'm happy to introduce an American Homestead sponsor, Zervita Zeal. Now, first off, I only accept sponsors from products that I use and believe in. My family uses Zeal mainly because we want to ensure a healthy immune system. You see, it's made up of only whole food concentrates and includes no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. The included sweetener is all natural from fruit and the stevia leaf. It's gluten-free, it's vegan, and it's kosher. In 2018, my youngest son was involved in a bike accident that resulted in the surgical removal of his spleen, and that's an important part of his immune system. And because we live on a farm, you can guess that having a healthy immune system for our family is very important. Some of the included ingredients are beetroot, chicory root, turmeric, moringa, blueberries, cranberry, goji berry, milk thistle, ginseng, alfalfa, broccoli, and so much more. It's these natural ingredients that can easily be made into a powerful and tasty drink that my family can make and feel good about. So sign up and give it a try today. Every purchase you make goes to help the homestead so that we can continue to make great homesteading videos for you. Link is in the description below. Go ahead, give it a try. Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.